Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Risk of Rain 2 soundtrack reaction. Today we have They Might As Well Be Dead, another one from Pobat, throwing this one in here quite a while ago. He threw this in there about the same time that he threw the other one in there, but the request queue has gotten a smidge backlogged. That's my bad. So we're finally here. I've been meaning to get back to it. I saw a bunch of comments on the first one saying I should listen to other songs, and I've been meaning to, but there's been so many other things in the way. But we're finally here, so without further ado, let's go. I also saw the Survivors of the Void subtitle, so I'm assuming that this is a DLC. Gotta figure as much. But I'm expecting all the same atmospheric brilliance that Chris has given me before. Love the percussion. Never find me sad about some traditional instruments being thrown in. Oh, man. Oh. I think that's a phaser on the keys there. Oh, the way it's just bouncing rapidly between both headphones. It's flossing my brain. Oh, feels so good. It just fits right in with everything. Ooh. I'm starting to listen to specific parts of that like backing track, especially on those keys. There's some bluesy things in there. I mean, there's a lot of blues happening in general, but some specific key combinations, very bluesy. Ooh. The reversed audio. Dude, Chris. Yo! That is such a cool sample. What? Whew. All right, wake it up a little bit. My goodness. Nice, crisp, slightly open hi-hat. Not wide open. Definitely not held closed. Got just enough of that sizzle in that hi-hat, creating a great amount of room. Whew. Jeez, go off, King. Oh, man. Ooh, the use of stacks, too. Honestly, it's not really often you hear cymbal stacks used in songs like this. I love this. Just in general. I think that's the end of my sentence. I just love this. Man, Chris. Just a master of atmosphere, absolutely. Jesus. It's not even done yet. It's still happening. I was gonna tab out. Now it's done, man. Chris, like I said, is an absolute master of atmosphere. Every single little thing done in that song to carry it through was so expertly woven. The beginning starting out with this like traditional percussive heavy piece, just building up this structure of like, okay, let's find out where we are. The way that it opens up, especially after it hits the spot with the main drum kit and the electric guitar comes in, is just such a wild transition. It's such an evolution from the beginning to the end. The coolest part for me has to be that spot where it uses that huge arpeggiating, just constantly moving synth back and forth to like use that as a transition is insanely clever between those two drastically different tones as well. Like, part of me wants to think that that synth has a bigger purpose in the game. Maybe it's a sound effect for something else or is used in more songs than just this one. I feel like Chris was using that as a very extremist way to like connect these two genres together, these two entirely different sound types, because you have the one that is so organic and so analog, and then you bring that into something that is a little bit more rocky, upbeat, pumpy, and just it has a different energy to it. I feel like this transition was built around the concept of it being exactly that, a transition between spots in the game. Like, in my mind's eye, I'm kind of seeing myself walking down like a kind of tight corridor, like between two cliff edges, and I'm just like kind of narrowly fitting through there. There's not really too much to work around, and I know I'm in this place that's like a jungle, just a wild area. And then once that transition happens, it gets wider and there's just a giant forest or just a huge plains area in front of me, and I'm just like taken aback by everything I'm seeing. It is so fantastical that my brain can't fully comprehend it, but it's exciting all in the same. That's the energy that this song specifically is giving me, and I think it has a lot to do with that transition doing its job so well to bridge those gaps, despite it being so frankly completely out of left field, being something that's not at all fitting with the rest of the instruments used in the song. I also love that in the second part, the drums were written specifically to work with the other instruments to get those accents down, because that's the way, honestly, drums should be written. They should be an assistive piece to help the rhythm along, and you can do accent things like that, and it sounds great when you do it. It's something that they use in jazz and blues all the time, everywhere, because it works so well. And while drums are obviously the backbone of the band, as everyone says, there is definitely room there to add accents and allow that flexibility to shine, to not only be the backbone, but be a part of the band. You're not just playing the same rhythm straightforward all the way through. You can, that's totally a choice, but then you miss out on opportunities like this where you can just have the drums accent those moments. The better, like that's just right there. Just do those, you know? If you're a drummer and you're watching this and you don't do that, right with and for the guitar and all the other instruments around you. A lot of people tend to just sit there and go, I'm gonna sit with the bassist in the background and do my job. And if that's your vibe, go for it, but experiment a little bit. Do things like this, play around with it, add accents. That's the reason people like Joey Jordison of Slipknot were so prolific as drummers, or the Rev from Avenged Sevenfold, especially in songs like A Little Piece of Heaven. Just insane attention to detail, allowing the other instruments to breathe and also assisting them where they need it, letting them have their space while helping them get more. At the end of the day, the drummer isn't just the backbone. You're not just playing the rhythm, you're a part of the band. And the more you learn to accept each other in a group, it sounds so much better when it's written, just like this. Chris doing these sorts of things just shows me how great of a musician he is to understand that level of every instrument around him. When he could just as easily put on a drum machine playing a standard beat all the way through, he challenges it to make it more interesting for the listener. That's why these songs are so good in a general sense, and why Chris is just such an amazing composer. But I think I've said all I can say about this one, so thank you all so very much for watching. Chris, amazing work. If you happen to see this video at some point in the future, fantastic job, my guy. Damn. And I figure I'll probably hear more eventually because this soundtrack is too good to not end up in my queue at some point again down the line. But if you like this video and you liked hearing me ramble about these little intricacies about music and such, which I personally love doing, then you know how to follow me and support me and all that. And I will see you in the next video. Goodbye!